Hello, everybody. I hope that you are having a great day. As always, I'm excited to get my day off. I've been up for a while, obviously. Uh, I'm going to talk to you today about a very important skill that facilitates success. It's the preemptive uh, predecessor to the ability to access and use all of the skills that you have at your disposal. And I want to talk to you about that. But before I do, don't forget that we're moving up to the release date of my 21st book, I Am. You can now pre-order I Am uh, at a discounted price. And in the process of ordering it and getting the discounted price, you also get a free 30-minute breakthrough session with yours truly. These breakthrough sessions have been exciting since I started doing them on a number of different fronts for a number of different reasons over a year ago. And I'm excited about the opportunity to get to work with people, even if it's just one time, what we can accomplish in as little as 30 minutes. So if you haven't pre-ordered, I Am, get it now at the discount promo pre-order price. Also, uh, you know, get yourself set up. You'll be contacted by the support team and have a time schedule for your 30-minute breakthrough session completely on us. And I guarantee you, you will not leave that breakthrough session the way you came into it. You will be surprised, like I say, how much of an impact you can have on your life in as little as 30 minutes. It will literally change you because you will begin to see just how much you can do in a short period of time. And then you get to look at the expansive amount of time that's out in front of you and see just how awesome of an impact you can have on this world. So do that. Okay, let's talk about now. Let's talk about what I believe to be the most prevalent skill when it comes to facilitating success, and that self-confidence. Most people see self-confidence as a personality trait, but it's not. It's something that's developed. Like any other skill, you develop self-confidence. Now, you may grow up in an environment that is highly supportive of or promote self-confidence. Maybe you grew up in an environment like me where you're constantly told that you can do anything. Maybe you grew up in an environment where people, you know, pointed out your gifts and your talents and praised you for it, celebrated you for it, and talked about how awesome things were going to be for you. And so you have a head start in the self-confidence. And self-confidence and self-esteem are two different things. Self-esteem is how you view your value in this world. Self-confidence is how you view your ability to do things in this world. And they're both necessary and they both complement each other, but they are different. Your self-image is the entire encompass, or self-concept is the entire encompassed idea of self, who you are. Your self-esteem is going to reflect the value that your self-image presents. And your self-confidence is going to reflect the confidence that you have to accomplish anything you set out to do. Now, being that self-confidence is a skill, it can be developed. And it is developed. Like I said, some people are going to get a head start in the self-confidence department because they grow up in an environment where they are constantly being celebrated, praised, encouraged, inspired. And so they have this idea that, hey, yeah, I can. But a lot of people won't. A lot of people won't grow up. A lot of people are going to grow up in environments where people tend to tear you down. Even sometimes your primary label givers, which are normally your parents, will tell you you're not going to be anything. And even when it's parents, that's not necessarily being hostile on purpose, but they'll tell you, hey, you probably shouldn't focus on that. You're not very good at that. Maybe you should just do this. Maybe, hey, you've never been good at this. Maybe you're dreaming a little too big. Maybe you need to shrink it back down. And what they are trying to do is save you from hurt and pain and disappointment and all that, and give you something safe to do. But see, what I can tell you is being something and becoming something that produces something else exceptional, extraordinary, phenomenal doesn't come by playing it safe. Uh, Doing the phenomenal comes by being willing to step outside of your comfort zone. Comfort zone is that place where everything that comes at you, you know you got it. And so it feels secure. The problem is there's this thing at the end of life that I've seen way too many times where people are at the end of the line. They know they've got days, hours left, and they're sitting there, and you can look in their eyes. I've seen fear, just being afraid of dying, and it's kind of scary. You can see it in their eyes. You can see it in the way they're looking, the facial expressions. Then you got the others that are just full of fulfillment. They got this idea that I've lived my life to the fullest. I got every ounce out of my potential, and I did what I came here to do. I'm ready for whatever's next. And they got this look on their face, and it's the most peaceful, encouraging, inspiring, and empowering experience you can be around. The most devastating I've seen isn't the fear of dying. It's the idea of regret. The person who knew they had more to give and didn't, that played it safe, that could have stepped out and been a difference maker, but decided to hide behind the scenes and stay in their corner of comfort and never ever truly came anywhere close to touching the potential that God placed inside of them. And that regret that they have on their face is the scariest thing that you could ever see. It's devastating. And so you can play it safe on the front end. And you can stay in your little comfort zone. You know, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get trained to do it. And I'm going to do it enough to where I'm going to be okay at it. And this is where I'm going. I'm never going to push the envelope. I'm never going to step outside of my comfort zone. The problem is you got to come back and you got to reconcile that at the end of your life with who you are, what you did, and what you could have done, and be okay with it. And so my thing is, I know I'm going to bump my head sometimes. I know that I'm going to get knocked down sometimes. I know people are going to laugh at me. I know people are going to talk behind my back. I know there are going to be people that are wishing for my demise. I know there are going to be people ready to celebrate when I fall. But I have this idea that if it's in my heart to do it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to keep doing it until I get it. And there's absolutely no other option. I've got two options with everything I set my mind to do. That's why I don't entertain a whole lot of stuff that doesn't really drive me. I've got two options. I'm going to get it, or I'm going to die trying. End of story. Yes, I've got a timetable on it, because the timetable takes a goal and makes it urgent. So I got a timetable on it. But if I don't hit it by the timetable, it's not a failure to me. It's not a failure until I quit. And that's what I tell people. You didn't fail until you quit. You didn't fail because you got a setback. You didn't fail because you got knocked down. You didn't fail because you didn't hit the goal in time. You failed when you didn't hit the goal in time and you gave up. Most people fail to accomplish the things in life they want, not because of some initial idea of failure, but because that idea of failure shut them down. You know, you got told no 3 times and you gave up. It may have took 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. If I'm not mistaken, there are people out there that are literally billionaires now that got shut down in the beginning of the game so many times you can't remember. You got inventors that went thousands of failures into an idea before they finally got it to work. You got authors who wrote books that they couldn't get published from, I'm one. I was told no with the first book, The Invisible Father, Reversing the Curse of the Fatherless Generation. I was told no to every publisher I went to. And so I decided that I would find a way to do it. I didn't want to go through just the regular self-publishing company, so I decided to start my own publishing company. Not only did I publish that book, I'm about to release book 21, and in the midst of me publishing my own, I had a publishing company come to me with a project. Now, I was the one that couldn't get published, not because I couldn't write, but because the people I was writing to wasn't a big enough audience. That was the primary thing. Look, your target audience isn't big enough. It's not going to be able to substantiate the investment it would take in the book. I got it, and it did more than substantiate it. And then I went on. And so all of a sudden, here comes publishers, because now I'm proving that I can not only write and publish, but I can sell. And so we're on book number 21. And now I'm able to help other people who want to get their books published and give them an opportunity where they may not get it anywhere else. And it starts with sitting up saying, I'm not going to stop. You're not going to tell me no, and that be the end of my story. If I decided it was something worth doing, it's something worth seeing through. But it didn't happen overnight. Now, on to it. So my thing is, you have to have You can talk about business ideas. You can be a great conceptualist, meaning you come up with these unbelievable ideas out of the blue. That's probably my greatest strength is people come to me with their ideas and I put them on steroids. I just have this mind that constantly goes and it takes something and it blows it up. And you can be great at that. But if you don't have follow through, it means nothing. You can be great at strategy. But if you don't have follow through, it means nothing. You may be great at planning. You can write business plans better than the best of them. But if you don't have follow through, it means absolutely nothing. You will find people. I'll take a person who has a piss poor business plan, piss poor strategy, but just believes in every ounce of their being that they're going to get it done. And I'll take them over a person that's struggling with their self-confidence, but has everything else in front of them. Because if you don't take the step, you're never going to achieve anything. You've got to be willing and ready to risk failure. You've got to be willing and ready to fall flat on your face, to go out and get the things in life that really, truly matter. You can't go out. You're not going to have anything of any true significant value or impact on your legacy that you don't have to put some skin in the game in order to get. You're not going to have a situation where you can have this massive gain and you don't have to put any skin in the game. You're going to have to risk some skin, and sometimes you're going to lose some skin. That's just the way it is. But what you have to understand is that when you start to invest in developing the skill of self-confidence, the more confident you become in yourself, the more decisive you are. Being decisive is huge. The thing is, you've got to be willing to make decisions, and every decision you make is not going to be the right decision. I don't care how well prepared you are, how well read you are, how well trained you are, how many people you consult. There are going to be some decisions that are going to come back and bite you in the butt. That's life. Nobody's perfect. Your goal, more than making the right decision, is making a decision. Decide, I'm going to move on it, because if you're truly committed, if you got the right people around you, you're going to make some decisions that are horrible, and you're going to sit up and say, that wasn't it. You're correct. You make the adjustments. You find out what you shouldn't have done and you change it. You find out what you should have done and you do it. It's just a part of saying, I'm investing in what I'm becoming. And see, you can't have a company that is expressive of who you are until you understand who you are. See, the company is always a reflection of who is the leader of the company, the president, the CEO, the founder. That's where you get the idea of what you're dealing with. And so your personal success and your personal confidence is immensely valuable and important to the success of your business. So you can have all of this stuff lined up. It can look great on paper, but if the self-confidence isn't there, it's going to show in the people. Nobody that doesn't have, let me explain to you. It's so many dynamics at play here. I can't get them all out. I'm going to show you how one way it works. If I don't have self-confidence, the one thing that I'm not going to do is consistently interview people who are more confident than I am, who have more of an idea, because I'm threatened by them. So anybody that I bring on will actually have less confidence in themselves and what's going on than I do. So now I have an entire company of people who really don't believe we're going to get it done. So guess what's going to happen? We're not going to get it done. But when I have a certain level of confidence, I start to seek it. More importantly, the energy I emit with that confidence will start to attract people with that type of confidence. And now you've got a people that are representative of a culture of confidence that goes out and says, even if we've never done it before, we're going to figure it out. But so how do, if confidence is a skill, see, it's easy when you talk about basketball. If you want to be a great ball handler, you just practice handling the ball. There are plenty of videos all over the internet that'll show you how to start working on your ball handling skills. You can go from something, you may never be one of the best ball handlers in the world, but you can definitely improve your ball handling skills to the point that you can play a game of basketball with confidence that every time you put the ball on the ground, somebody's not going to rip you. You can do that. So, but how do you build confidence as a skill, self-confidence as a skill? Number one way, repetition. The more you do something, the better at it you become. And that's a big problem with a lot of people. People want to be experts with no experience. People want to come into the room and immediately be the big fish or the smartest person in the room, the big fish, the go-to person in the room. Nobody ever wants to start off as the apprentice. Nobody ever wants to start off learning. Nobody ever wants to start off sitting next to the guru. Everybody wants to be a guru, but nobody wants to put in the work. And that's a problem. Repetition, you've got to do it over and over again. until you get to a point that it becomes automatic. You don't even have to think about it anymore. Whether, believe it or not, you've done this thing before in your life. If you've ridden a bike or if you drive a car. Right now, most of you, if you've driven a car for any time over a couple of years, let's say 3 years, normally you can master something and become an expert at it roughly about 3 years if you do it on a daily basis. So if you've driven a car for over 3 years, you drive now most of the time subconsciously on autopilot. You're not thinking about it in a supremely conscious state. You might see things and become consciously aware of it, but most of the stuff, that's how you can be somewhere, drive all the way home, not realize what you're doing, get home and go, I don't even remember. Did I stop at that last stop sign? Did I stop at that red light? And you can't remember it because your subconscious took over. You have become so effective and efficient at driving that you do it automatically. And that's anything that you do. You do it consistently enough over a period of time, you become an expert at it. I don't care how bad you start it. If you do it enough and you practice it and you look at what you're doing and say, okay, that's not the way to do it. This is how I need to get it. And you have an idea of what the best way to do it is, and you consistently work towards that goal, you will become an expert at it no matter what it is. The problem is we will not stay with anything long enough to become an expert at it so that we can build self-confidence in it, so that we can emit the energy that produces the proper environment for us to walk out and do what it is we do. You've got to have repetition. And what underwrites your repetition is persistence. I tell people all the time, my one word, if you talk about one word, and Evan Carmichael has made this a catchphrase with his book, One Word, but if you want to talk about my one word, it isn't skill, it isn't intelligence, it has nothing to do with academia or how many degrees I have or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. At the end of the day, my one word is relentless. Anybody that has known me for any time have seen me at my best and seen me at my worst. But the one thing they can tell you that is consistent is he's never quitting. He is never going to, and if you can knock him down, he's getting up. You can set him back, he's getting up. You can take everything that he's created, he's going to rebuild it. He is not going to settle for failure. And that's it with me, relentless. And what relentless is, it's the end result of just simply persistence. It's saying, I'm going to start something and I'm going to keep doing it until I get it. I'm going to keep doing it till I get it right. I'm not going to allow what people think or say about me or believe about me stop me, because it's bigger than them. It's bigger than me. I have a responsibility and assignment to my creator, from my creator and designer, that says you're here to make an impact. You're here to show the world what's possible. You're here to change lives. You can't do that hiding in the corner of comfort, in the shadows of comfort, trying to protect yourself. You've got to wake yourself up and sit up and say, you know what? I'm going to go out there and get punched. The greatest fighter has to be willing to get hit. You've got to have an understanding that you're not going to get through life unscathed. It's not, the goal is not to get through life unscathed. The goal is to sit there and decide, no matter what happens, I'm going to keep going. As long as I'm breathing, I'm still in the fight. As long as I have breath in my body, I am still going. The fight is not over. I will stop when I die. That's why you have so many people suffering from a lot of these cognitive degenerative diseases, is because you get to a certain age and you've been told when you get to this age that you're supposed to retire. But God didn't design us to retire. God designed us to be an impact and be in our work. Now, I'm not talking about just a job. I'm talking about our work, our assignment, our purpose, our reason for being here. We're supposed to be in that until we leave this place. There is no retirement age. That's why you got so much of an after retirement. Because you stop using your brain, you stop challenging your brain to learn more. As long as you're challenging your brain, you will find that it's more healthy, it's more impactful, it's more expansive, and you have the capacity and capability of learning more, doing more, and achieving more when you consistently challenge your mind. I tell people all the time, if I'm breathing, I'm going to keep going. I'm not retiring. Now, I'm going to set up some things, and I have already started setting up some things so that when I get to a certain age, it's no longer about money. It's about me still living in my passion. And that's what it's supposed to be in the first place. It should be a point where everything financially is done because you worked so hard at such a high level with such an understanding of what you needed to do financially that at a certain point, it's no longer about the money. Now it's just about I love doing what I love doing, and I'm going to continue to do it as long as I can. And that's what I'm going to do. If I've got breath in my body, I'm going to be speaking truth to power. If I got breath in my body, I'm going to be encouraging people. If I got breath in my body, I'm going to be teaching new methods of growth. That's what I'm going to do until I leave this place, because that's my assignment. But I got to a point to where I could sit down and I can do this and I can talk. I can go in front of people and talk. I can write books and I can put all these things came because I sucked at it once and I decided I was going to keep doing it until I got it right. Even when it came to doing videos for the internet. When I first started, I told this story before, and I'm gonna pretty much shut it down. I told this story before. When I first started, I started my first YouTube channel. I got a bunch of YouTube channels now. I started my first YouTube channel. I said, okay, you can make money on YouTube. Okay. I didn't know that. I thought it was just a place you can literally make money on YouTube. But I'm gonna start YouTube, and I'm gonna do something with it. I'm gonna make my presence felt. And the first channel I started, I got on it and I did maybe 20 videos. And one person will come on and like I was sharing it on Facebook, I was sharing it on Twitter, and nothing was really happening. I get three views on one video, 2 views on another video, and I got my first subscriber, except it was a troll. This dude, and I could tell by the way he was talking to me, was a dude. This dude was talking to me, telling me how sorry my videos were, how I didn't have any subscribers, how my best video had 3 views, how I got 20 views, I got 20 videos and still don't have 100 views, and how much I sucked. And he stuck around. He just kept telling me how much I sucked. That was 20 videos. That channel now has 1,300 plus videos on it. I have now almost 2 million views and almost 15,000 subscribers. And this was several years ago when I started this channel. And I could have easily say, man, I ain't got time to sit up here and make videos for this one dude to keep coming at me, talking all this madness and all this, tearing me down. But see, it was bigger than my ego. My vision was bigger than my ego. My purpose was bigger than my ego. It was never about whether somebody liked me. It was about me being impactful and giving myself a platform so that I could elevate other people. And yes, it had some ties to money, but it was if it was about money only, I'd have quit a long time ago, because I didn't really start to see the benefits of the money until a year or so ago. And then I started saying, wait a minute, and it's grown every month since. But what it started out as 20 horrible videos where I'm trying to do it perfect, and I've got these little things that I do when I talk, especially in a video, because I wasn't doing them live at the time. I was doing them, so you try to do them perfect, and then you catch yourself going, and you don't like that, so you go back and you try to do it over and over again, and there's no electricity because you don't really have anybody in front of you, and you're trying to learn it. And they weren't that great. But now I go back and I look, and the crazy thing is those videos that were once deemed by my troll as being horrible are still getting hits years later. And the other videos are just getting better and better, not necessarily in creativity or production. I don't hardly do a lot of production. I give content, but the way I deliver the content is with a confidence that came from doing it over and over and over until I got to the point to now I never, even when I'm doing a video and it's not live, I do most of my videos live now. I stream live. But when I don't do a live video, I never stop and re-record. I get on and I go, I let me be human. I let me be a person that is not going to go through a whole hour of a presentation and not stumble over some words or whatever. This is who I am. If I'm out speaking in the public, this is what they're going to get. So this is what you're going to get on the video. So I produced authenticity along with repetition, gave me a feeling and a place of where I fit into and what was my zone. And I began to attract people by the energy and the confidence in which I spoke, in which I delivered. And that is what happens. And that's just one thing. And it's being done over and over again in my life with everything I take on. It's about doing it until you get good enough at it that you begin to trust yourself to do it. You'll never, ever be able to get anything of any true nature or true value if every time you do something and you don't do it well, you quit. You've got to sit up and say, I'm going to keep doing it until I get it right. And that's something that was instilled in me early. If I did something and it sucked, I couldn't live with it. I don't keep doing it until I get it right. And that's all there is. When you look at the people who get on, they don't have something special that the people who don't get on don't have. What they have is this unbelievable desire to succeed at a level that won't allow them to quit. They have a demand and a standard they have set for their lives, and they're going to live for it. Even you know, take me out of another person that I totally admire, my wife. She, you know, she has this passion. She does things she loves. The passion is what drives her, and the passion is what keeps her up. I remember, you know, she has this organization called Restoring Ghetto's Forgotten Daughters, and it comes from her book, Ghetto's Forgotten Daughters, which highlights her life of coming up and going through so much. She is a childhood sexual abuse survivor, and now she works with girls who have gone through that. And even in the juvenile justice system, little girls behind bars, she's working with them. She also works with young women who from domestic abuse. But that was this thing where she wanted to go into the schools. And she said she talked to other people who have organizations that do stuff, but nobody had ever set up anything for school. So she called the school and she said, baby, they say I've got to put in a bid. And nobody I talk to knows how to do a bid. I said, start it and walk yourself through it. Get all the information you need, ask them everything they need to do the bid. And it was a blind bid. She didn't know what anybody else was bidding. She stood up and she said, well, how much do I charge? How much are you worth? Then, you know, work it out from there. And she did it. Then she comes back and she says, guess what? But I got the bid. And the thing is, what if she would have just stood up and said, I don't know it. I've never done it before. Now, will the average person on average get the first time they try? No. But the thing is, there will be those moments when you go after something, and if you've built this confidence about how you move, then you'll try something for the first time and win. But if you never go through the moments where you don't win the first time and keep going, you got to understand, my wife has been up against the wall so many times in her life, and she could have quit and she didn't. So by the time she got to doing this bid thing, she's perseverance inside and out. She won't quit. She simply will not quit. And so when she got there, it was like, okay, in her mindset, she's already thinking, if I don't get this one, I'll get the next one. But it was done with such faith and such confidence, not just in her skills, but in her purpose. That she had so much confidence that it was expressed and imprinted upon the bid, that it literally, the bid had an energy to it. And she was accepted. And that's just the first part of it. We're still moving, we're still growing with the organizations and the work we're doing in the community outside of what I do for business and what she does for business. She's also running a tax service. She's also a real estate agent. And then I've got all the stuff I've got going over here, but we also in the community. And the way that we move is this. We're not going to stop because it gets hard. We know that when it gets hard, that's when it gets good. Not because we have this thing for pain, but we understand that anything we've ever achieved in life came through a process of pain. If I want to get my body right in the gym, I'm going to experience pain. On the track, I'm going to experience pain. You don't get up here without going through some things down here. But repetition, just consistently repetition. Another way that you build your confidence is by monitoring your self-talk. What are you saying about yourself on a consistent basis? Are you talking yourself into a negative direction, a negative path, and negative results? Are the things you're saying about yourself directing you down a path in which you cannot achieve what you're looking for? Your self-talk is the software or the program that your brain, the supercomputer, is going to run. Your brain is capable of anything, literally anything, but it will only accomplish what the program tells it to accomplish. And if your program is focused on what you don't have, how hard it is, what you can't do, how many times businesses fail, how much money is in your bank account, how much you're lacking, it's going to produce it. Every time you talk about lack, you're programming your brain to find it and to function in it. You don't talk about what you don't want. You don't think about what you don't want. You don't practice what you don't want. You talk about what you believe. And what you believe produces an expectation. and God meets you at the level of your expectation. You can't talk about what's going wrong and focus on it, giving it power, and expect anything different to happen. What you focus on is what you believe. And then you have to apply this faith thing. Now remember, faith is this thing that believes in things that cannot be evidentiary, proved through evidence. And so what happens is it's not the seeing things, it's the things you know without having any proof. So now you got to step out in faith. You got to step out and say, I believe something. I have no evidence of it, but I believe it. And that's when people are going to call you crazy. But see, that's where things happen. Things happen in this crazy zone where you start to believe things that have no proof. That's faith. See, faith doesn't get activated until you get out of the place of reason and rationale that says, because this has always happened, it's going to happen again. No, faith says, I don't care what happened in the past. The beautiful thing about the design that God created in this universe is it never, ever consults your past in order to lay the groundwork for your future. You never have to mortgage your future to pay for your past. Your past does not have the ability to dictate your future. God is not consulting your past as he lays the path for your future. You can't do it either. You've got to have an understanding of your purpose and your identity. And you've got to be able to understand that there are going to be some things you come up against that does not make sense on a rational level. But it's definitely possible. Everything that you see that has become something that's exceptional and extraordinary when it was first conceived in the mind of a human being didn't make sense. I'm almost certain that Orwell and Wilbur Wright were told they were absolute idiots for thinking they were going to be able to create a machine that could fly around the world or even fly across the street. But now we fly around the world. We don't even give it a second thought. We jump on airplanes just as quick as we jump in cars. And even then, look at the car. We're going to make a horseless carriage, something that moves with horsepower but without a horse. You crazy. No, I have a concept, and God has taught me that if I can conceive it in my mind, that's his evidence to me that it's possible. I don't have to see anybody else do it. I don't have to have ever read about it before. I can conceive it in my mind. That's God's evidence. God is not a God that will torment me and torture me with something in my mind that I could never have. So I know if I can think it up, I can create it. Think about not even the cell phone or the satellite phone. Think about the landline. You're gonna be able to pick up this instrument and talk to somebody in another house, another city, another country on this thing. And somehow your conversation is gonna go through these wires and end up on the other side and be retranslated into a different audible energy and frequency than what it traveled through the line in and produce the sound, not just the words, but the exact sound and audible frequency of your own voice. That was the telephone. Now we decided we don't even need the wires. We can do it through cellular frequencies and satellite signals, and we're doing it. Somebody had to dream it up and believe it. And I guarantee you when they were talking about it, people were saying, you're crazy. Look, I'm gonna get off of here. I done took you half an hour, but look, confidence is the skill you have to achieve any level of success. It's confidence. So get that. As I always say, live your life on full so when you leave this place, you leave on E. With that being said, I'm out of here. Don't forget, if you haven't pre-ordered book number 21, I Am, do it now and get your discount price and your free breakthrough session. You guys have an unbelievable day. I'm gonna do the same thing. You make one commitment. This is what I'm gonna ask you to do today. Make a commitment to do something remarkable. And see, remarkable doesn't mean extravagant. To me, remarkable means you take time out of a day that's busy, that's calling you to do so much, and you touch somebody's life. I don't care if it's the person on the side of the road. I don't care if it's somebody you pass in the grocery store. I don't care if it's that person that you look at in the office you can't stand. Make it a point to touch somebody's life. It can be a sentence. You don't know how much speaking the right sentence at the right time can change somebody's life. Get out of yourself long enough to see your ability to touch somebody else's life. And watch how that energy returns to you. That's what I'm going to leave with. You guys have an unbelievable day.